Jimmy Butler, it is your own fault that you are not having joy on the basketball court, as you said in last night's press conference. It is your own fault because I noticed that you said that, hey, I love the city. I love Miami. I love the city. But I want to get back to hooping on the court. It is your own fault. First of all, anybody who knows anything about the NBA over, I say probably like the decade, 2 decades, knows how it goes in Miami. There's a system in play. You are in Miami, you're going to be a part of the system. And I'm not even saying that as a Heat fan. I'm saying that as an NBA fan. Like, we know how it get down in there. But Jimmy and his ego, like, Jimmy think that he is the best basketball player that has ever and will ever exist. Jimmy and his ego, it ain't nothing wrong with ego, but it's like, come on, dog. You gotta be kidding me. And he like, well, with Jimmy, it's always, well, the next place I go is going to be so much better. Like, do you know how exhausting of a attitude that is? You always like, well, I'll be happy when I get to this next place, or I'll be happy when I get to this, when I reach this next goal. Bruh, happiness comes from within. And sometimes you have to take a step back and say, what role am I playing in my unhappiness? What role am I playing in things not working out? But Jimmy doesn't want to admit that. Jimmy will sit back and he'll blame everybody else. I'm sure he probably still blaming Udonis Haslem for the time Udonis Haslem had to go ahead and buck up at him and punk Jimmy out right there on the sideline because he was trying to give Eric Spoelstra a hard time or whatever. Like, dude, if you don't want to be there, cool. If you don't want to be like, you know what I'm saying, maybe it just ain't a good fit or whatever, but stop acting like you haven't done anything wrong in your time in Miami. Well, I'm just trying to be happy or whatever. Like, this dude is a clown, man. This dude coming out dressing like a emo punk rocker, dressing like somebody from Fall Out Boy. This dude got the lime green braids in his head or whatever. Like, Jimmy Butler is a sideshow or whatever. Like, Jimmy, is over for you, man. It's over for you. Like, you want to go somewhere where you can be the alpha, you can be the top dog, because that's how you see yourself. And you ain't like that, bruh. You ain't, dare I say, you ain't ever been like that. Like, yeah, you was able to punk them dudes in Minnesota or whatever at that one time in that practice, but ain't nobody going for all that. Ain't nobody going for all that, especially when you not... You ain't like that, man. I'm gonna just go I ain't trying to go in like that, but dude, you ain't like that. And realize that you ain't like that and take a back seat. Take a back seat or whatever. Like, yeah, you're not gonna be the first option. You probably gonna be the third option or whatever. And then you end up going to some other teams, you might be less than that. Some teams might even have you coming up off the bench or whatever, depending on what team you go to. And depending on your attitude or whatever, because you coming in there like, oh yeah, I'm Jimmy Butler, I run everything. Who the hell is Jimmy Butler to think about who, you know what I'm saying, to basically be like, I'm top dog. I'm top dog. Like, come on, man. That act, the Jimmy Butler act, is old. And every time the Jimmy Butler act wears off, he want to leave. He want to go somewhere else. Jimmy Butler is the reason why he is not going to be a perennial all-star in the NBA anymore.